What's up, guys? I am back with a preview of the RSM Classic. I will start with the recap of the Houston Open, give you guys a course breakdown, a breakdown of some players that I like, and then leave you guys with some early picks and predictions. And as always, remember to like and subscribe if you guys are liking this content. You guys also get some NFL and college basketball content where we are firing on all fronts, up 7 units this past weekend. This past week, and looking to keep it going. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter to make sure you guys are getting our updates. We'll tweet out some plays, last minute plays. I'll tweet out some live golf bets if I like any. So make sure you give those a follow. And then, as always, we're running our promotion with Prize Picks. They're running a promo right now where they'll match your first deposit up to $100 if you use our code PROPICKS. We really like Prize Picks here at Professional Picks because it's the best daily fantasy app out on the market right now. It's legal even in states where sports betting is illegal, which makes it super valuable. And it has built-in promos. The built-in promos being the flex play, which we really like to utilize here. So it is a way to create a parlay with different entries across multiple sports using either fantasy projections or typical prop bets. And if you don't hit all of them, you still get some of your money back. So that built-in promo, we've definitely been making a lot of money off and really liking it. And just remember, they'll match your first deposit up to $100 when you use our code PROPICKS. So get on that. Now, let's move into a recap of the Houston Open. Pretty good weekend for me, up 4.8 units. Finally, the round one leader hits at plus 6,000, 0.1 to win 6 units. Shout out my guy, Russell Henley. Was a great Thursday last week to start us off. This is the first time I've hit one since I've started making these videos, so it's been a little bit, but it feels good to hit one again. My lock of the week, unfortunately, did not hit, moving my golf locks to 7 and 2 all time. Taylor Gooch was my lock to finish top 20. He ended the first round tied for first with Russell Henley. So I thought things were looking real good. And then the next 3 days, he just fell off. And for this reason, I'm probably going to stay away from him this week. Aaron Wise and Sam Burns were each a stroke away from finishing in what I bet them on. So Sam Burns was tied 7th. Aaron Wise was tied top 25th. So they both get one more stroke. My bets hit just the way of the road. Sungjae Im snuck in there at tied 19th. So the golf unit tracker moves to up 12 units year to date, and then up 7.11 units in this 2022 PGA Tour season. So moving on, the RSM Classic, it'll be at a course called Sea Island in Georgia. So it's actually 2 courses. They have Seaside and Plantation. And so the first 2 days, you either play Seaside or Plantation. So first day, you either play Seaside or Plantation. Next day, you play the other. A few other events do this. I know they do it whenever they play like Pebble Beach. So that's something to keep an eye out. 2 different courses. But after Thursday and Friday, all rounds will be played on the Seaside course. So the Seaside course is a par 70, playing 7,000 yards. The course defense for both of these courses, though, are these fast sloping greens, a lot of wind and water because it's a coastal course. And as you guys can see behind this background right here, there is a lot of sand. So that's something to take account into. The accuracy is going to be huge here, especially with this water. Putting is going to be huge with these fast sloping greens. And then, as always, I'll let you guys know what greens they are. They're Bermuda grass greens, and I definitely took this into account when I was doing my analysis. So moving on, some past winners. We got Robert Streb at 19 under last year. Year before that, Tyler Duncan, and then year before that, CH3. These guys all finished 19 under, and I'm expecting that to be similar this year because it's just going to be a scoring fest, averaging going under 5 under a day. So whoever can make those birdies, and I took a look at like what these guys really did to win, and so I've seen this across pretty much every year. What the top 3 things that help you win at the RSM Classic at this course is driving accuracy, putting, and approach. So driving accuracy is going to be big with the water obstacles, which come into play on a lot of holes, especially on the Seaside course. Putting on these greens and those approach shots, closer you can get the approach shots, the higher percent chance you have of making a putt. So that'll be important. Around the green will be important as well. And then birdie or better percentage from 150 to 175 yards is something that I looked at. One thing I've mentioned before, the PGA Tour is awesome. They offer all these stats for free. So what I have to do is figure out what wins, and then I look at on the PGA Tour website. So birdie or better percentage means from 150 to 175 yards, how often are they going to make birdie? Like I said, going to be a scoring fest. I needed to look at this to make sure that these guys can go low. Put a shot really in there tight, or get on the green and make a putt. So it's that combination of approach and putting, which kind of is encompassed by this birdie or better percentage. And a lot of those approach shots come from 150 and 175 yards. So that's why I was looking at that. Moving on, I want to give you guys a preview of the odds to win. So the favorite, Scotty Scheffler, coming off a pretty good week at the Houston Open last weekend. Really thought he was going to win. I think he ended up finishing second behind Jason Kokrak, who pulled it out. Webb Simpson, Louis Oosthuizen. Webb Simpson has a good course history here, but something I'm going to stay away from. Louis Oosthuizen fits this course really well, but his recent form has been pretty bad. Cam Smith, Corey Connors, guys that I'll discuss later, along with Russell Henley. Harris English, his recent form, I've been staying away from that. Gooch, like I mentioned, I think I'm officially off the Gooch train for now until he proves that what just happened those last 3 rounds of last week was a fluke. Kisner and Neiman, not great recent form either, along with Adam Scott and Alex Noren, staying away from them. 2 interesting plays here would be Joel Damon, and Seamus Power. So those 2 guys feel like they could do well here. A little more value than obviously someone like Louis or Webb Simpson. So something to look out. And the rest of the guys don't really, not anything I wanted to touch. I could see this tournament being someone past these plus 6,000 odds wins this tournament. It just seems like it's going to be one of those things. So something to keep an eye on. Mackenzie Hughes, I could see him making some noise here. He just hasn't played up to his potential. Like, we've seen him play way better than he has been recently. So not someone I'm going to be too big on. With that, let's move into the 4-4, where I'll preview 4 players that I really like for this tournament. First being Cam Smith, his odds to win plus 1,600. We haven't seen a lot of him lately. He just hasn't been playing a lot of tournaments, but when he has, he's played really well. 5 out of these 6 have been top 20s. Most recently coming off a tie 15th last week, tied 9th. One thing that was really good for me that I really sold me on Cam Smith, I'd say, was the fact that he started off pretty bad at the Houston Open, and then each day he got better. So shaking off the rust a little bit. Now that he's only had a little bit of this week break, he should come out, no rust, ready to keep firing. And then what I mentioned is that around the green putting wins here, especially putting. And everyone knows Cam Smith's a great putter. So 10th on tour out of the whole tour last season, gaining 0.573 strokes against the field. And then around the greens, 0.261 strokes, which was 25th on tour last year. So that's something that's pretty important. Looking for him to make some noise here if he can get that putter going. Only thing that worries me about him is his driving accuracy, but hopefully he can keep that together and make a lot of those birdies, which he is known for, to make a lot of birdies. Next, we got Russ Henley, my guy, winning the first round leader for me last week. After being tied first, dropped down to T7 by the end of the tournament. Recent form looks really good. He's been playing a lot of golf too, which is helpful. This is something that this is somewhere where I really like him because his approach. So he's first in approach, strokes gained on approach this season, and 15th in driving accuracy, which are 2 of the main things. So I'm pretty big on Russ Henley this week. And usually what hinders him is his putting, but he actually gained 3.75 strokes against the field in last week's tournament, which was 12th in the entire tournament. So I really like that. At plus 3,000 odds to win, there is some good value there. Next, we got Corey Connors. He hasn't been playing a lot of golf either, kind of like Cam Smith, but when he does, he's pretty consistent. So one thing that he's really known well is for his ball striking abilities. Last year on tour, he was the 9th best player in strokes gained approach, gaining almost 0.7 strokes against the field, and his driving accuracy is really good. So that's something to keep an eye out for. His last tournament, his approach was really bad. But I think it's just one round. I mean, one tournament where every other tournament he's been gaining on approach. So it wasn't too scary for me. I still like him this week. And what people have thought is like Corey Connors is not a great putter. In the 2022 season, he's gained 0.68 strokes putting, which is 30th on tour. That's more than fine with how good his approach and his driving accuracy is. If he can putt that well, he'll do really well here at plus 2,000 to win. So good value. I'll probably take him top 20. And then let's move on to Denny McCarthy. So this is a high value play, I think. He is plus 9,000 to win. I might sprinkle a little bit on him to win. On my official card, you guys which we'll get into later, I will take him, finish both top 40 and top 20. His last 6 tournaments, his recent form is really good, and he's trending in the right direction. So tied 11th last week, tied 15th the week before, tied 39th the week before. The cut at the Shriners, I'm just going to let that go because all the other tournaments have been pretty well. Top 20 in 3 of those, top 40 in 4 of the 5. So he does have some good history here too. At the 2019 RSM, he finished in 8th place, and he is putting really well. One thing that has been a little hindering for him is his approach. And if he can just get his approach going, his accuracy is really good. He gets his approach going, he makes a lot of noise at this tournament. So with the 4-4 done, let's move into my early bets. Like I mentioned, there are 2 courses that they're playing. So I took a look at the tee times. I really think the round 1 leader is going to be someone that plays on the Plantation course because that course is much easier than the Seaside. So one thing that I also look at is the early tee times. So I picked Russ Henley last week, and he was the first tee time to go off. Usually you have those first tee times where the course is in good condition, greens are soft, things are feeling good for the early tee times, and those guys are the ones that tend to go the lowest. So Luke List, I really like his course fit. Played pretty well last week at the Houston Open, and he has an early tee time playing on the Plantation course. Plus 3,300. I took that at 0.1 units. Same thing with Hudson Swafford. He has an early tee time on the Plantation course. Another thing I really like about Hudson Swafford, this is his home course. So I expect him to have a little bit of be ahead of that learning curve of the course and go really low on day 1. And then Corey Connors, like I mentioned, taking him top 20. Just because we haven't seen a lot of Corey Connors, I only put half a unit on it. And then Denny McCarthy, like I mentioned, I could see him making a lot of noise. So I took him top 20, half a unit, plus 350. My lock of the week being Russ Henley finishing top 30. Had to go back to him, stay on the Russ Henley train, trending in the right direction. Really like this pick, along with Cam Smith. Like I mentioned, 5 out of those 6 tournaments, he finished top 30. So 5 out of those 6 are actually top 20. I really like him at minus 135. I contemplated making that my lock, but I want to stick with the hot hand being Russ Henley. And then top 40, Denny McCarthy plus 145 at 1 unit. And then top 40, Kramer Hickok. I did not mention him throughout the video, but he kind of had a sneaky top 20 finish at the Houston Open. And he has been putting really well. I really like him. Look to him to get back to his recent form, that form that we saw about mid to the end of last season, where he was playing really well. And then just a reminder, my golf locks 7-2 all time. So if you're not going to take any pick, take Russell Henley to finish top 30 at plus 100, even money, and make some money. The golf unit trackers at 12.13 units all time, 7.11 units this season, and we're looking to keep improving on that. And just a reminder to like and subscribe if you guys are liking this content. Leave a comment if you guys want to see some other content, or if you're tailing me, or even if you're fading me. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts, and let's make some money this weekend.